just for reference, issues with technology, so it's not going to work. We'll have the PowerPoint up here. We'll converse with everyone. The first item is the, what is it? The Ithamer Be About reconstruction hearing for the Ithamer Be About watershed. To enter into that, I'll ask for a recess, motion for a recess of our regular meeting so that we can go to the watershed hearing. So I can do the recess. And I second that. Motion carries 3-0. So we are now recessed and we're going into the reconstruction hearing, which I'm calling to order. The board members, we have Bert Weaver, Kevin Myers, and myself, Jordan Brewer. Mr. Surveyor, was the notices given to the landowners, and can you provide the proof of mailing, affidavit, and published legal notice, and notice of any undelivered letters, please?
Yes, I'd ask the secretary to move forward.
Yeah, I have it here on the slideshow, the proof of mailing affidavit here. Notices were sent out on November 10th. And here's a copy of the, obviously I can't see well, but yeah, they sent it out on the 10th. And it was published, well, actually there were some undelivered notices, notices that were intended for Michael Fowler and others. There were 5 notices. There was one notice for that one that said that the property was vacant. And then there was a trust for James Bond. It said they were undeliverable. I attempted to resend those and haven't heard back on that. And it was published in the Times on November 19th and November 26th.
Okay. For reference, we're operating under the IC code 36-9-27-52, which allows us to have this reconstruction hearing. The next step here, I will ask the surveyor to present the reconstruction report, and then we will open it up for board discussion after the report.
This is surveyor's report for the IB about regulated drain number 1195. The IB about regulated drain number 1195 is located in Michigan Township, eastern Clinton County. The drain begins near the east corner of section 13, Township 21, range 1 east, and runs generally in northerly direction with a low topography through sections 13, 12, and 1 of this township. And head wall for the IB about is located in section 1. Proposed improvements in an effort to alleviate flooding, reduce maintenance costs, surface erosion, and improve crop production within the contributing drainage area. It is proposed that a portion of the IB about drain be reconstructed with 36 and 30-inch perforated drain pipes. The portion of the regulated drain to be reconstructed begins at the IB about open drain, section 1, Township 21, range 1 north, and terminates in section 12, Township 21 north, range 1 east. Attached is the exhibit depicting the proposed improvements of the IB about drain. The estimated cost for improvements is exhibited in Exhibit A. The damages are calculated at $300 per acre. Pipe is shifted away from its existing pipe center line in areas to eliminate the meandering of the drain, so it's going to be straightened up just a little bit, and to reduce the amount of infrastructure needed. It is the intent of the drainage board to shift the existing easement to the location of the new pipe alignment and retain the 75-foot easement on either side of the reconstructed regulated drain. It's the intent of the drainage board to restore all disturbed land to original condition as part of the construction project. No anticipated compensation will be paid to agricultural land for lost crops or pasture due to construction of the regulated drain. The proposed improvements will occur on or adjacent to 4 parcels. Total estimated cost is $416,749.85. Estimated benefits to the land involved, $1,474,472. Cost to benefit ratio is 4.02 to 1. Affected land is in Exhibit B, and the addresses and all the owners in that area is in that exhibit also. We have those on file up here if anybody wants to see it. The assessed land, Exhibit C, has the name of parcels to benefited acreage and assessments of the land located in the ID about watershed and will receive the benefit of the reconstruction of the regulated drain. Estimated cost of periodic maintenance is $2,000. Signed by me November 3rd, 2025.
Okay. Is there any more discussion based on the surveyor's report that you would like to have now? Questions for him regarding his findings?
None at this time.
Okay, do we have any written objections?
There was one letter received. It was in the Google Drive. This would be a good time to have that TV for you guys to be able to read it.
I did see that.
I do have the letter here. Give me just a second.
I think we had a chance to read it.
You guys
This is
read
all gets presented
Okay.
to us ahead of time, so
So
we
yeah, you guys
have a
have-
docket and we can look through it just for anyone watching. It's not the first time we've seen it, but I will note it's from the Lillian Jean Rural Living Trust was the one objection letter that we did receive. So now we'll open it up for, I'll call it public comment. Standard procedure, we'll give you 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes here roughly, give or take, but just try and keep the redundancy down for that. So is there anyone that would like to speak in objection to this reconstruction? Got a lot of people sitting here. Anyone want to speak for the reconstruction? It's not on my rules, I'm just adding this one in there. Okay,
Can we read our letter that we sent in?
if you want to read it, yeah, you're more than welcome to read it.
I don't know if I have a copy of it, Mike. Mike has a copy of it.
I'll ask you to come up here to the corner.
Oh, I'd be glad to. I don't know if I can read my brother's writing, but I'll try.
Well, we have a typed version.
No, it's typed. I know typing, come on. I'm Janet Klein. And this was something that my brother and my sister and I put together. We thought we needed to verbalize our concerns. Just a small amount of land to me compared to some of you guys, but everybody here that's here, I've heard their concerns. They've talked to us. The proposal reconstruction, here I go, the Be About watershed was negatively affect our 40-acre parcel that my sisters and I own. As you can tell, my brother wrote this, typed it. During a time of lower farm incomes, this project will cost approximately 11% of our income from this 40 acres over the next 10 years. For this, I received nothing, only future problems. This project will do nothing for our property. In fact, this project will be a negative for our property because we are having a huge increase in the amount of water that is coming through our property, causing an increase of erosion and potential crop and damage and flooding. The landowners south should be paying a larger percent of the cost because they are the only ones that are actually benefiting from this project. I just thought you needed to know what we said. That's the reason why I just want to say this, Mike. I hope you're okay with this. The 40-acre property has 3 acres of woods, and the open ditch, which we have the open ditch in the thing, all the way through, cuts through the center of the property and takes 3 to 4 acres out of production. This only leaves about 34 acres of actual productive farm acres. It seems strange that we're paying for acres that have been taken out of production and actually open the ditch that cuts through our property. If you look at the older things, and we were just saying, these are things that we did ourselves, and I was just talking over here of how many ditches and how many things they've repaired ourselves. That Dad in the 80s took out, all the trees and brush to make the water go better. My brothers even looked into grasses to make the water go better. And we believe that if he received help from the, he didn't receive help from the county for that. I'm just kind of doing this. Recently, we have intensely tiled 40 acres, 43 acres, and an 80-acre field from other farms. And this was done ourselves. Two of these projects went to the neighbor's property, and they have the outlet. We paid 100% of this tilling, including the tiles, and that went through our neighbor's fields. These were not county tiles and do not show up after talking to, going in and looking. These don't even show up that they're there. So anyway, last thing it seems like thus the landowners that should benefit of the new tile project should pay a larger percentage of the cost. And I think this has been addressed, but I just wanted others to know our letter that we sent in, just to make it public.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yeah, I might not be able to answer it.
Why do you think there will be, you said only future problems? Why do you think there's only?
What was the question now? We can't hardly hear you back here.
In the letter, you said, for this, we will receive nothing, only future problems. What are those future problems you believe?
I expect there'll be a lot more water faster in a heavier rain, which we'll just call more erosion on our part of the open ditch,
But it's,
more silt. And potentially, we have a bridge over that to get since the ditch cuts the property, years ago, to get larger equipment across to both sides of the ditch, we put a bridge in, like years ago ourselves.
so what size is the tile now?
We're open. Oh, you mean that comes in
That we're reconstructing.
It's 30 inches.
What's it, the new one
It'll
going?
go to 36.
Okay, so you're going from a 30-inch to a 36.
And I'm expecting, plus, there's gonna be more pressure above because of the intensive tiling up there, so I expect there to be more pressure coming into those tiles. Because there's more feeders into it than there used to be.
And that's not how fundamentally the tile system works, right? If it's installed correctly and doing a good job, like the private tile system, like the one that you referenced that you did 40 acres, 43, 80 on, they should act as a sponge. And so they should be lowering your top water table, yes. You're shaking your head, no, yes, I know a little bit about this. They should be acting as a sponge where they're lowering the water table, keeping it at a certain level so that it then filters into the main tile to be dispersed, right? Where you have issues is when the water can sit on the land and it's saturated, or you get the big rains and the water table's not been taken down, and then you get it piling up, and then it gets into the system. But in the reconstruction, you're going from a 30-inch clay cement tile that's probably been there, 75 to 100 years, that breaks down, I'm assuming, in more than one place, to putting in a new 36-inch dual wall system that should allow the water to be better drainage through that whole section. So you had comments, sir?
So are there surface drains in this new, where the intensive tiling is? Are there more surface drains than there used to be?
There's not more, but there will be at least 3.
Larger?
Probably.
Yeah, that alone will put more water into it in a large rain.
But you're going from a 30-inch concrete or clay tile that's 100 years old, that's not functioning like it should, to upgrading to a 36. Like that's a huge benefit. I mean,
I understand that. I'm just saying, we're gonna get more water faster through the open ditch.
but it's going into the open ditch.
I know.
What's that?
Does the
We are the open ditch.
Yeah, I understand. I pulled it up. I see you're the open ditch, but I don't understand.
You don't think there'll be more water in a large rain coming down through there now?
I mean, ultimately, it's the same amount of water whether it rains 2 inches or 1 inch, right? It's the same amount of water that eventually gets away. Ideally, all of these systems behind it are working that water table down so that it's filtered in there over time at a different rate than if it's all at once. I mean, that's why, so the question would be, why did you tile your other farms?
But you're adding to the drainage field
How are you adding to it?
with, what has been constructed and pattern tiled to the south, from what I understood.
But you guys pattern tile stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, so why did you do that? What was-
To eliminate, water damage.
So I guess that's where I'm confused, because you're arguing against having it pattern tiled up above, right? And it has to get away.
No, I'm not arguing against that.
Okay,
I'm just saying we will potentially have more damage through the open ditch.
meaning like the water will come out of the open ditch? quicker?
Potentially, when it can't get away.
We have that now.
Yeah, I have that too in place. But if it's metered correctly and it's metered over time better, then it should, I mean, if you get 16 inches like we got this last spring, it doesn't matter, right? Like if you're by the open ditch or not, you're gonna get water damage.
Right.
But over time, it should do a better job upgrading the tile system at 36 to a 30, from a 32 to 36, and then having it metered behind it through a system that controls the water table, where now it's not controlled, it just goes into the soil and it piles up and then it eventually comes through there one way or another. I mean, this is not my opinion. This is, you can go look up drainage research. I mean, this is pretty evident of how the systems work.
My understanding in this whole process, there's going to be some improvements downstream, which should help us.
Yeah, that's, I guess that's what I'm getting at. I'm unsure on the future problems. To me, I don't know that it's gonna materially benefit you significantly, but I don't think it's gonna hurt you, is kind of what I'm saying. And if anything, it's gonna help because you should have some less runoff coming from uphill down to you now that those systems are better metered, and you have a new outlet putting it into the creek, into the open ditch. I mean, that's, as a farmer, that's how we want it to work. So I would, and when they're done correctly, they work just like that. So I guess I don't understand why you believe there's gonna be a problem. That's
Well, it's money too.
Well, yeah,
That's-
everything costs
that's-
money.
Well, I know, but that's the thing, we've got that open ditch, which is helping everybody up above. So it's just, the benefit for us, as this started, was with the fact of that to me.
But I mean,
I think we resolved-
everyone that's downhill
Yeah.
in the county is in the same situation, right? Like, anybody that's on the creek side, you're in a similar situation. It's just location, right? Like,
After we wrote the letter and sent it in, I mean, we talked to Dan since that time. We've kind of resolved our part of the issue.
Okay.
So,
I felt like I needed to ask. That was, she read the letter, so.
Well, and I
curious.
wanted to read it so others could hear, because it was the only one that was there, to know, what we were standing on when this all started. That was my main thing.
Yep.
Because they're probably thinking, what did we write?
Yeah, no, and I ask all this respectfully. I'm trying to understand the point of view, but also from this side, like, what is the purpose of a drainage board and how does it improve the land for as many people as possible? And ultimately, that's what a reconstruction goal is to try and improve it for as many acres as possible, not looking at it from a silo of 40 here. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's collectively for that whole watershed, how can it be improved?
I understand.
So that was my point.
I have one question. Were there any grants involved in this project?
No.
We've looked at that, we can't find a grant to do this,
I kind of assumed that.
yeah, unfortunately.
I better get back on my plan that they gave me. I don't like when I veer off. Okay, any other objections? Okay. we'll close that portion, and now it will go among board members for mayor
And the surveyor, I hope.
and the
I have a
surveyor.
few things I'd like to say.
Well, you didn't list yourself in my
Well, exactly.
thing,
Under the
so
code, it allows me to hide under that section.
the board and the surveyor discuss any objections or additional comments.
Well, I had the privilege of meeting with those folks back there and Mr. Farrell in my office, and we had a very good discussion. And one of the things that came out of that was modifying the assessments to recognize the difference between the tile section that was going to receive the majority of the benefits and the open section that is really the receiving water. After that discussion, we went through the maps, and I looked at a few things. In particular, I looked at the bridge culvert, 238, I believe. The report in 2018 from our inspection indicated that that culvert was undersized by quite a bit. So I talked with Mr. Campbell and Mr. Myers about that, and we're going to try to get that scheduled to be removed and a new culvert put in place that will be engineered to the appropriate size to allow for that downstream water to move out. In that same conversation that we had, we discussed the difference between the upstream and the downstream, which in the downstream is actually the northern end of that where the open ditch begins. And I reached out to a Tipton County surveyor, Jason Henderson. And what they've done over there several times is create a separate area for assessment on that open ditch site, where you don't actually get all of the benefits. You're getting the receiving water, you're getting benefits at a more controlled rate, but they don't really get all the benefits. So after that discussion, I went back to our scheduled assessments, revisited it, and sharpened up my pencil a little bit. And we have a new scheduled assessments for you to look at, which should be on your G drive. And it lowers that down a fair amount, say for the William Jean Rural Living Trust. That assessment rate will go from $9,800. I'll pass those down. I'll leave it there on my fingers.
I'm looking at it on here.
To $3,298.89. So a significant reduction in that area. Same thing would be for part of Mr. Cox's land. He would get the same kind of a drop down as the Wickham's and Fred Dickey's property.
So you split the watershed assessment, right? To upper watershed and lower watershed.
Yes.
That's
Still, not for my report says our property is 417. I do believe the typically things are becoming higher. It's pretty rare for us, and you guys see that a lot on the ministers' board. But I believe under the new scheduled assessments, we can still get this project done. The contract, it's gonna be a little closer when we get the bid, it'll be much closer to 371 than that 460. So I would ask that you consider the new schedule of assessments.
Okay. So the new schedule has the upper watershed at $241.67 an acre, slightly less than the original
Yeah, it's
proposal.
just, I mean, it's like, it's less than $1 less.
Lower watershed at $82.54, which is 33% less than the original.
It's at 32% of the original.
33%
Yeah,
of the original.
right.
Okay.
Get a copy of that, look it over, like you said.
Do I have to look back to number 6 on my schedule?
Yeah, if you guys want to discuss it, then maybe go ahead and do that while they're reading.
And the schedule of assessments are the updated ones are these that I'm looking at on
The next slide after the,
yeah, right
Yes.
after. Yeah, okay. They're looking at the paper, right? I guess as you digest, does anyone have a comment on the proposed changes to the schedule of assessments they would like to make?
I don't have a comment on that, but is there any, after I met with Dan, is there any plans maybe in the future to, where this open ditch drains into Mr. Dickey's ground to widen that?
We won't necessarily be widening it, but same thing I learned talking to the Tipton County surveyor, and I told the rules was, you may go in there, and we don't really want to take out those natural curves, that's kind of what creeks do. But there is something we can do, which is kind of create a little breach for when that creek fills up. It will create basically a little bypass. We'll take one of those islands that kind of projects out that little peninsula,
Right.
and we'll cut that down to about a foot above a normal flow line. So when that flood does occur, that water will take that bypass in a more straight line
Get away faster.
and get away from it faster. Exactly. And once you take that
Got a new path.
and you put that with the new culvert, I'm hoping to put in a box culvert there, depending on what the county highway has to say about it. They may use a constructed aluminum one. I kind of like the concrete box culverts, but that'd be up to them. But that should move that water faster and eliminate a lot of that backup on Mr. Dickey's ground, and up where you have your bridge and that wet area. That answer your question?
Yeah. Don't forget about the round bale of hay or straw.
The work order's out for that. Should be getting moved soon. Also, while he's there, he's going to do a little bit of riprap protection in there and move a couple of down trees, which should help that downstream of the bridge. Right now, the blockage is at that 5-foot pipe. One under the road was 11 foot wide by 6 or 7 foot tall. The culvert rusted out, and an emergency liner was placed at 60 inches. So there is a significant reduction there, and the bridge report also shows that. But it was a kind of an emergency situation, and the culvert had to be repaired.
100.
Yes. Yeah, that's it right there.
Okay. Any other comments? Board? I'm gonna get that on schedule here. All the,
proposed changes on these budget as far as construction.
he said he hopes, does it?
Well, we're going to bid, so we hope it will. I think it will, but I had a certain percentage markup to what I had estimated to kind of cover it. And basically remove most of that markup. And I think they'll come in right around this number we have. If they don't, they come in higher, then we'll be back here.
Okay. We'll keep moving. Next, the board needs to determine whether the cost, damage, and expense of the reconstruction will be less than the benefit accruing to the landowners. If no, then we need to dismiss this. If yes, please make a motion to sign the order adopting the report and schedule as presented / amended and establish the reconstruction bidding process.
Need a motion.
So I think, yeah, so if going back, the benefit was roughly, what do you say, 1 million, give or take?
Benefit sheet. That's
This
it.
is the benefit sheet. No, 1.6 million is the estimated total benefit, and the original construction estimate was 416, but hopefully be closer to about $372,000, which would change your ratio.
That did not change.
Even better, it's 4 to 1. Probably go up to 4.5 to 5 to 1, just quick math of the benefit. So guess with that, yeah, so these numbers clearly state a benefit for this reconstruction.
Those are based on Purdue's 24 core number, I believe.
All right. We have a motion after considering all of the information that was presented this morning.
I'll make the motion to adopt the report and schedules as presented and amended.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 based on the findings to adopt the presented amended schedule. Next step is for the surveyor. He will publish a notice in the newspaper with IC code 531. Okay. I believe that's it, right?
We will send out notices of the findings of this hearing as well.
Yeah, so we'll send all that out. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the reconstruction hearing.
So moved.
Second. Motion carries 3-0, so it is now closed, and I'll entertain a motion to open back up our regular meeting.
So moved. Second.
All right, we're now back in our regular meeting. You're more than welcome to stay or you can leave. Next item on our list is our minutes from 12/5. Do we have a motion to approve our minutes from 12/5? All right, motion carries 3-0 on the minutes.
Get that. Put it back. Yeah, that's correct.
We have the Sophia Estates proposed one lot subdivision. If you could take us through that drainage review, please, Mr. Surveyor.
Mr. White prepared this, so I'll let him run through that. You can see the screen.
Yep, we got the Sophia Estates here, I believe. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Ron has a copy for us.
Okay. This is, yeah, it's at the corner of 550 North and State Road 39. It's about 8.5 acre piece, right there in the Matthias Rothenberger watershed. You can see there's pretty significant topography from the proposed site of 539 to it drains off to the west. Looks like there's maybe close to 10 feet of fall there. There's the depth of the water table on site ranges from 2 to 30 inches. It's 6 inches at the building site. Conditions for dwelling with basements are very limited, somewhat limited for dwelling with crawl spaces, but either would be possible with proper construction techniques. There are no flooding problems. There are some ponding concerns at the north and west side of the property, but there are none in the at the building site.
Next slide, please. On this slide, you'll see, those of you can see the screen to the right there, the blue area, that's the ponding area. Well, off of that fence row right there, about 20 or 30 feet over, we do have I think it's about 24 or 15 inch legal drain, or maybe an 18 inch legal drain under there.
That's 16.
16.
I don't know, that's what? 16 in Rothenberger legal.
There you go.
Could be, I know we've redone it up here, I think it's 24 up to about here.
Okay.
That's probably still on the old maps. But it has been redone downstream there. And we did just, the year before last, that whole section here has been replaced to the outlet with the exception of the part underneath State Highway 30. So they should be able to get good drainage.
Great.
And as said in the report, topography wise, it's a good location. I don't know if Mr. Murray wants to add anything or not. I think that's-
Are you done, Mr. Light?
Yeah.
Okay. Ron, do you have anything?
I think we see in the drawing, that's about where they're gonna put the new building. You see there's about 6 or 7 foot fall to that southwest corner there, where the culvert there. I didn't recall if there's a breather in that legal tile, but if we need to have an extra tile, if it's possible, we'll be able to run a drain to the legal tile. We discussed that later if it needs to be, but we didn't plan for it.
I don't recall there being a breather there.
Yeah. But we think we have plenty of fall to get to that southwest corner.
Any questions for Ron?
No, that's good.
No. All right. Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, motion carries 3-0. Have one more item on the agenda, that's the 2026 drainage contractor documents.
And those should be on your Google Drive. It's just updated rate sheet and contractor terms and conditions for next year. Just looking for their approval.
I don't think we really changed anything from last year, so it's essentially the same.
Same.
Motion.
Motion to accept.
Motion carries 3-0. Any other items unlisted that you need to discuss today?
I think I have anything.
All right. Okay. I do not. You gentlemen have anything? No, I don't. Entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep.
Hey, Tom. You were wondering, we were moving that out there.